Senator Klobuchar.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to all the nominees. I'm going to start with some kind of little different questions here. I'll start with you, Colonel Melroy. More than 150,000 people with cancer seek help at my hometown Mayo Clinic each year. And recently, Mayo researchers actually, maybe you're aware of this, have been working with NASA engineers, computer scientists, and software developers in order to develop an algorithm to predict how cancer spreads. Can you speak to the role public-private partnerships play in spurring scientific breakthroughs, particularly for healthcare?
Thank you, Senator Klobuchar. I think public-private partnerships come in many shapes and sizes, and the healthcare is ripe for those types of investments. And NASA has the unique capabilities of the International Space Station and a very robust life sciences community to support that.
Very good. Sort of along the same lines, Dr. Spinrad, the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative, Lake Superior is pretty important in my state, is a program by the EPA and has contributed greatly to the restoration of the Great Lakes. As one of 13 federal agencies collaborating with the EPA, NOAA has been allocated over $178 million to help accomplish restoration goals using science, data products, and services. In your testimony, you note that you strongly believe that public-private partnerships are an essential part of economic development. Can you speak to how you would improve this initiative or the role that public-private partnerships could play in benefiting the Great Lakes region?
Thank you, Senator. In short, I think the dialogue between the public sector and the private sector could be dramatically enhanced with regard to where should the provision of products and services start and end, who are the components that have key requirements. If you look at what's happened in the public-private sector in the development of commercial weather products, for example, there's some wonderful lessons learned there that I think could be applied to a broader dissemination of products and actually the expansion, the economic development of new economic sectors around products. Earlier, we were talking with Senator Peters about the harmful algal bloom issues in the Great Lakes, and there's an example where I think tailored products could be developed by the private sector for particular communities predicated on the provision of fundamental weather and Great Lakes products through an agency like the National Weather Service. So if confirmed, I am committed to ensuring that we take an aggressive approach, as Secretary Raimondo has expressed, toward identifying where are the opportunities for new products and services and what are the roles and responsibilities, respectively, for the public and the private sector.
Very good. I just want you to keep your eye on the Great Lakes. When I first got on this committee, I got assigned to the ocean subcommittee, which I thought was just about oceans. And I got there and I saw all these mostly East and West Coast senators except for me. And I remember I wrote a note, Senator Schatz, to Senator Lautenberg, who was then the senator from New Jersey. And I said, I'm the only senator on this subcommittee that doesn't have an ocean. And he wrote back, next year, just come back and ask for one.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Message received. Thank you,
but the Great Lakes is really, really important, and it's part of your jurisdiction. Okay, Mr. Monhague, congratulations on your nomination. And what are your plans to ensure that rural communities have access to critical transportation infrastructure grant funding? I'm here talking about the RAISE, formerly the BUILD grants, and the capital investment grants.
Yes, ma'am. As this Congress has directed us to do with both the infra and the RAISE programs, to have rural minimums. I was mentioning earlier that it is a point of pride of our team, of the career staff that work for the Undersecretary, to do outreach, to do technical assistance to applicants, to make sure that they can take the projects that were just on the cusp of being awarded last time and bringing them up to snuff and to be able to compete. And that's true for the Capital Investment Grant Program as well. I know the FTA team spends a lot of time, and there are a number of programs that can help rural communities. And in my previous time in the administration, I was able to travel all around the country. I didn't make it to Minnesota, but I would like to go.
Well, you're going to have to go.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so here's some other things related to that. Amtrak, longest rail lines that go from Chicago to the West Coast, provide a vital link stopping in Minnesota. Last month, I sent a letter to Secretary Buttigieg to include funding for passenger rail lines across Minnesota, including the Twin Cities, Milwaukee, Chicago intercity passenger rail. That's what I'm referring to. As well as a new project we're looking at, the Northern Lights Express, up to Duluth. Can you speak to the economic importance of these routes and potential routes?
Yes, ma'am. And I understand the Empire Builders, the most scenic of the Amtrak routes. As you know, the American Jobs Plan invests $80 billion in passenger rail, and I think the Midwest is, like other parts of the country, is uniquely well situated to get some of these city pairs, and something that was important to Secretary Buttigieg, trying to get reliable, good service between South Bend and Chicago.
Exactly.
And look forward to working with you to expand passenger rail.
Two other issues that I care a lot about. Port infrastructure, I understand you talked about that. We have, of course, a major port in Duluth. I was just there a few weeks ago. And we have to do more work, of course, on the shipping lanes and locks and dams and the like. Can you speak to how investments in multimodal port infrastructure are important to reduce delays in construction and keep us competitive as we work on the Endless Frontiers bill? Right now, a lot of our competitiveness will be dictated by how well we can get goods to market.
It's critically important, and we need to do everything we can to get goods off of ships, onto trains, onto trucks, and get them to where they're going. It's the lifeblood of the economy. The administration has proposed $17 billion as part of the American Jobs Plan for intermodal facilities, for intercoastal waterways, and for ports. And it is a critical part of our supply chain.
I've led the recreational trails bills for many years, and just for your knowledge for when you visit our state, not only do we have huge use of bike trails and other things, but we also are the manufacturers of domestic snowmobiles and ATVs, with both Arctic Cat and Polaris headquartered in Minnesota. And interestingly enough, the groups, the bike trails, the cross-country skiers, and the ATVs and the snowmobile users, you wouldn't really put all this together, have come together in support of the recreational trails program, because there's different trails for different uses. And that's been very helpful in moving this through. And do you agree that good infrastructure projects with trails can boost property values, attract new businesses, and the like?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. I think, let me see if I have any other things. This is good. One last thing, Dr. Spinrad, diversity in STEM. I talked about this some over the phone with several of the nominees, and way back, the last administration at the very beginning actually led a bill on this with NASA, and then with, in general, with science that were signed into law. And I think we need to do more there. Could you just quickly address that for women and people of color?
Yes, Senator. Yea, verily, amen. I am firmly committed to ensuring aggressive approaches to diversity, equity, justice, and inclusion. I would cite as evidence the roles that I've played in various leadership positions to invoke exactly those kinds of thinking thoughts. And if confirmed, you've got my commitment to address that aggressively. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.